Visual Studio provides very tight integration with SharePoint from a developer's perspective. So for example, you can use Visual Studio to build project items and package them as features and solutions. So let's delve a little further into this concept. For example, you may build a list definition in Visual Studio that defines the columns and behaviours for a list. And then you may build a list instance as well. You may build event receivers that fire when a user edits the data in the list. And of course, you may build a visual user interface such as a web part. You can add workflows or further event receivers for business processes. And you can add mapped folders and application pages. Visual Studio is aware of all of these assets for a SharePoint solution, and it also allows you to logically gather together a number of these project items into a feature. Now, a feature is a logical grouping that says, when I deploy this solution, make sure that this event receiver and this list instance and this list definition and this web part are deployed together and can be activated as a single unit because they rely on each other. When you use the development tools from Visual Studio, it packages your features and other assets into a solution and deploys it to your local SharePoint server, and you can debug and test your solution right there. Now, what Visual Studio actually builds is a WSP, or Windows SharePoint Solution Package. So you should think of the WSP as an installer specifically for SharePoint. Now, in some respects, it's much more powerful than a traditional Windows MSI installer, because it enables synchronization of your package across multiple servers in a SharePoint farm, and also supports a concept of feature activation and deactivation. Furthermore, although they are very powerful, you can edit your WSPs directly in Visual Studio, so there's no need to use complicated tools such as Orca for editing your installer.